member for the additional information provided after I last raised the General Wolfe issue, and for since acknowledging that the decision to purchase the building, which he himself described as a really stupid thing to do, was not in fact made by the recent Conservative administration, but was in fact the previous Liberal Democrat and Independent administration. So I thank him for that. Now, residents are being asked to accept a 4.99% council tax rise because the council says finances are stretched to breaking point. Yet the case of the former General Wolfe building is a perfect example of why so many residents no longer trust the council's financial governance. The council paid £1 million for the site in 2020, despite a pre-acquisition survey warning of major defects, escalating risks, and explicitly advising the council to review the entire purchase strategy before proceeding. Within a year, refurbishment costs had risen, the project became unviable, and ultimately it's now a 75% loss to Cornish taxpayers with regards to the money that was spent. What troubles me even further is that one document that should clarify who approved the purchase, the formal decision notice...
Can we get to a question, please?
Yeah, still appears to be missing. I've submitted freedom of information requests, as have others, a couple of which have now gone overdue. Given all of this, how can the council credibly ask residents to pay more tax when it cannot demonstrate that a £1 million acquisition was properly authorised, scrutinised or even documented? And when such a purchase went against clear expert warnings, are we looking at simple negligence or something else?
Thank you. Councillor Dwelly.
Yeah, well, I continue to think it was a stupid idea, whichever administration did it, and I need to say sorry to Martin Alvey because I actually believed the report in Cornwall Live that was saying it was a different date. There you go, should have done more research. However, I think what was happening at the time, and this was true of other things, for example, the Conservatives, I believe I've got this right, were buying all those pods up that never got used for the homeless. So, you know, mistakes can be made and waste does happen in a large authority. So sorry, not a complete free pass. I think sometimes rapidly doing things that sound like a good idea at the time without the due diligence isn't sensible. So I do agree with that, but I certainly don't think that we then go into a position where you'd say the whole of the trust in the whole of any local government services of this council or the council tax rise going up is somehow massively blown to pieces by one mistake of an unfortunate purchase of a very old building. And of course the other thing you will be well aware of is that construction costs have risen massively in Cornwall, more than most places, and many projects we've all seen in our communities, which we thought would cost X, are now costing Y. And that in itself has actually caused quite a lot of damage to things like Town Deal programme, because that money didn't go up when the buildings that people put forward for renovation sector all across the towns that had that money, you get to do less with the same money because we saw this in the loss of Midas going bust, for example, leaving us without an interesting market and choice of builders. We have a major problem in Cornwall, which is that we're a long way away from other parts of the economy, and we don't, unfortunately, have good prices for construction. I wonder whether, in another part of the country, that General Wolfe building might have been more savable.
Well, thank you. Do you have a supplementary?
I do, thank you, Chair. The main point I was trying to get at is with regards to the financial governance and the decision notice that appears to have gone missing. So what I was really hoping for is if I can get a commitment to locate the decision notice, or at least get an explanation as to why that doesn't appear to be forthcoming.
Well, I would be surprised if you weren't going to be told which cabinet member, if it was one at the time, it certainly wasn't me, was signing off that decision. But I believe it was part of Corsair, from memory, were tasked with finding properties to try to house homeless people, and I think that that decision would have been made within that process. So it may not be, one of the reasons you might not be getting a very clear answer is because it may have been sourced out to Corsair to do that work.
Thank you. Councillor Laborde, followed by